welcome to the NFT Jungle. I am Emma, A.K.A Nifty Meta Girl, and today we are going to be talking things related to NFTs, of course, and some updates with MetaJungle. We have some fun interviews ahead as well. And joining me today, I have Boss Mom 99.
Yep, same thing as usual. Well, I shouldn't say as usual. Same thing this week, same name, Boss Mom 99, A.K.A Jaden.
Very good. And we also have producer Gabe with us today.
I'm surprised you invited me back, honestly, after that last episode. Seemed like you guys didn't need me anymore. So.
It wasn't a unanimous vote.
Yeah, well, whatever. Good to be back.
Oh, well, glad to have you. Glad to have you. And we do have some updates to our wallets to share with everybody. I know this has been a fun week, some different things happening, both with one-of-one projects, but also in some generative art projects and some various. So, Jaden, do you have some updates to share with us?
Oh, I sure do. They all happened so fast, so I know neither of these are projects that I said I was watching last week because, lo and behold, it was a very, very fast thing for me. But I came across this one called Ape Kids Club. I'm sorry. Ape Kids Club. And I was like, wow, this is actually really cute. This is cool. They seem to be gathering a lot of support. Like, let me dig a little bit deeper. And by that, I mean I had about 2 days to dig a little deeper. And it was really cool. And it was a project that it had a very fun and active community, which I really liked. So I decided to dive in. Their pre-mint, they were allowing 3,000 of them to be pre-minted, and their whitelist was totally sold, or totally full. But one thing that I thought was really cool was that they only allowed their whitelist spots to mint one for the first 4 hours.
Okay.
And then what was left of that 3,000 was they were allowed to go back and mint.
Uh-huh.
Well, they had approximately, I want to say 1,200 left after the first 4 hours, and they sold that in 6 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah. So I knew that I had to be fast, and so I went on ahead and bought one off of the secondary.
Okay.
Thankfully, I did, because I literally, right as the public sale went live at 7 o'clock, I put 2 in my cart, went to go buy them, got my contract submitted, and they sold out. They sold 6,699 in 9 minutes.
Ooh, we're not seeing that as much right now, so that's exciting. Well, maybe not for you.
I didn't get any from the mint. Let's just say that. I got in at a really low gas price, which I was super excited about. But it obviously didn't work for me, and I understand why, because some people were sharing screenshots of gas being at over $100,000.
I don't know if any baby ape's worth that.
I don't know either. But my one I did get, it's so adorable, and I'm excited for everybody to see it. I'm excited to be part of the community, and I'm super excited about what's going forward, because they've already actually announced that for Christmas we're being airdropped some pets.
Awesome.
That's what Santa's bringing us. I've always wanted Santa to bring me a dog for Christmas. It never happened. So finally, I'm going to get to live out my...
get a puppy for Christmas.
He's finally listening to what I'm asking for. I always was curious why I never got one under the tree, but...
You know, all of our dreams can come true in the NFT space.
Oh, that is very true. And then I actually was able to finally dive into the one-of-one art
very
category,
good.
Which I was super excited about. I was looking through the MetaJungle Discord the other day, and I came across this one-of-one digital art piece that I thought was just incredible. So I went and checked out the artist or the collection, and the one thing that was missing was a description.
Okay.
So I thought the art was really great, but I just was kind of curious about what spiked it, because it definitely is unique. So I messaged the artist and asked if he would add descriptions, and he did. And I was just absolutely blown away. They were fantastic. It was actually really crazy, because the piece that I was looking at originally, I didn't even end up buying it, because the one, like with the description of the piece I bought, just completely changed it for me. So I really was able to connect with it and resonate with it. And it's called Girl from sorry. I just want to make sure I said it right because I was saying Girl in Paradise earlier, but Girl from Paradise City. They're by Marlon Paris. Sorry if I pronounced that wrong. But I shared it, and some other collectors reached out and said they really liked it, but that he was missing how many items he was planning to put in the collection. So I messaged him and asked if he would be interested in putting that in there. And he did. And he actually messaged me back. And there was 6 items in there already out of 12. And he messaged me back and said as he was putting his last description in, he had sold another piece. And then about 10 minutes later, he had said he sold another piece. And then about 10 minutes after that, he had said he sold another. And then by the time literally, and by the time that I went back and looked, all 6 pieces were sold out. So that was really exciting, and he was really excited. It was fun to get to share that time with him, and I'm very excited to have that piece in my collection.
That's awesome. And so did he cap the collection at 6?
Nope. He's actually capping it at 12. So I'm super excited to see what else there is to be added to it.
Very good. Well, and so that kind of reiterates what's so cool about, the connections we're able to make in MetaJungle Discord, because it's helpful for the artist and the collector to be able to connect and share, those what's important to each side, and for the artist to see from the collector and vice versa, and to have such instant gratification.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And yeah, it was just insane. Like the descriptions he put in just totally made them I don't want to say new pieces because the artwork itself was outstanding, but the descriptions just totally made them connect differently with me. And
that's great.
Yeah, I'm just so excited to have it in my collection. But enough with my wallet update. Do you have anything else to add?
I do have a few things that I have added. And so along with our interview a few times ago with Cirque, our good friend that is with Cool Lady Club, I minted a couple High Giraffe Academies. So those are in my wallet, and I'm happy to be a part of that collection. I also minted Terracotta Warriors, which is one I've been watching. This is with the Feel Good NFT project, and Terracotta Warriors is one of the collections that they've have released after that. So the process, if you own a Feel Good, they let you you're basically on the whitelist for other projects that they're dropping. And this is a project that A.K.A is the artist, and he in real life is a notable artist and has a strong backing there, but this is a project that he's been working on for a long time and creating this art for a long time, but now is bringing it into the NFT space, and it's his first project in the NFT world. And so I love the artwork. It's really cool. With this collection, they're only they were only planning to mint 888, so a really small collection size, but they actually have decided after the mint that they would cap it as of Friday, which would be December 2nd. And so anything after that, they're going to be burning. And so, that makes the collection size even that much smaller. So with Feel Goods, they're actually changing that to where with the Feel Good project, they were planning on 8,888 total, but they have actually ended their mint, and they're not going to be minting any more after this. So that makes that collection size so much smaller. And with this particular Terracotta Warriors, they're under 500, so that's going to limit that. And I'm sorry to correct that. That would be December 3rd, Friday, December 3rd. And so after this point, you will only be able to buy Feel Goods and Terracotta Warriors off the secondary market.
That's exciting. I was going to say, it sounds like you've been to a little bit of too many 4 a.m. dance parties, but I wasn't going to say anything.
That's a whitelist situation. So jumping in on those opportunities, that connects with another project that I've definitely been watching and waiting on that opportunity. But yeah, like all of us knowing that in the NFT world, those late nights, once you get started, it's hard to go to bed. But with the Terracotta Warrior project, another thing that's really exciting is A.K.A has done a great job, I think, in supporting the people that have been supporting him in his projects. So after the mint started, they announced that night that for anyone that held 5 pieces, he would be creating a custom art piece and sending it to the holder.
That's amazing.
And so he's, which I think is just great to keep giving back. It also makes you believe in it. Some of these projects were so early in the space. It seems like, there's a lot of options out there. And for some, we may just be so early. And for those that jump in early and are willing to be patient, there's probably really great things to come. That's how I feel about both the Feel Good Project and the Terracotta Warriors. And so I'm excited to see where that comes, but I'm happy to have 5 in my wallet. So I'm excited for a custom piece from Opaque, which they value on the secondary market at $6,500. So, that's something that he didn't have to do, but it's really, really exciting to be able to reward your holders and help build that community. So I think he's making great strides to do that. So that's pretty exciting.
That is really exciting. And I think another exciting thing that you kind of said about that project is, didn't you have one that up until right before we did this, that you were the only one of?
I've been watching since the mint ends today. I minted one that it is the only helmet like that. Out of all of them that have been minted, the only one. And so I've been checking back every little bit to see if it's still the only one. And unfortunately today, someone else did mint the same helmet. It does have different background and everything, but there's only 2 of that particular property, which is really, really cool. So
that's pretty exciting.
I'm super excited to have a rare one. I would have loved to be a one of one, but it is what it is. So, but yet another fun part of minting and, the reveal process and all that. So
that's
awesome.
Is really
good. Yes. So, but again, love the artwork. Great project. And then also, project, of course, we've been watching is Riot Racer. And they did their, drop for their drivers, 11,111 drivers available, and so minted those. And for each Genesis car holder, they provided a driver, and then you had the option to purchase additional. And so waiting for that reveal, minted them yesterday or dropped them. Their process is a little bit different, where they have a marketplace you go in. And this time, we've talked about their process on previous episodes. Usually there's like a lot of excitement, chaos. You've got this time though, it was so smooth. I thought, did this even work? Because it was like going in and making a purchase online. You put the items in your cart. There wasn't any rush or craziness to be able to get them in there. And then you just checked out and paid. I mean, it was just crazy simple. And so definitely, took away the stress from the normal process, but at the same time, you do kind of miss some of that chaos and hecticness from previous opportunities. But that team behind Riot Racers, they just do an awesome job. They're great with communicating. They're dealing with a lot of people in their community. I believe there's 10,000 people involved in the project so far. And so, but they do a really, really great job interacting with the community and keeping that going. And racing is going to be starting soon. So
that's exciting.
And that project, started off as something that's of interest, but it's going to be, I think, huge and grow into a whole ecosystem. So I'm really excited to see, be able to race my car out there on the track, find out who my drivers are. So I know there's lots of other people out there excited about that opportunity as well. So
I can only imagine it's going to be probably nice for you, because one thing that I've learned from every time you talk about Riot Racers is that obviously you like a little bit of crazy and hectic in your life, because you said you've missed it both times and it hasn't been like that. So,
well, that whole minting process, it is kind of fun to see if you're going to make it just like you experienced with your baby apes. It's just that not knowing, and then that reveal, and it's just part of the fun.
Oh yeah, that's what I was telling her. She was sitting next to me when I was trying to do it, and I 2 minutes beforehand, I'm like, wow, I'm getting kind of nervous. I don't think I've been this nervous since my wedding day, when I was questioning if my husband was going to be at the altar or not. But I was my heart was starting to flutter a little bit, and I was like, I've never experienced this before. And it was a little bit of a letdown when I didn't get it, but I just was excited to be in the experience. It was definitely a learning experience. I'll say that for sure.
So the husband showed up at the altar, but the babe didn't show up in your wallet. I guess that was a decent trade-off.
I was going to say, I guess if I had to choose, I would have went with my husband at the altar. So,
well, and speaking of that excitement with minting, what projects are you watching for this weekend or this upcoming bit?
So I really only have one new project that I'm watching, and it's called Flower Girls. I had been kind of watching it off and on for a little bit. I had looked at the artist a while ago because she has a one-of-one collection that is unique. And I like it. It kind of spoke to me a little bit, but I didn't actually end up getting any, which I'm kind of kicking myself for now because Gary Vee and his brother went and cleaned up the collection. So, oh well.
Well, and I listened to a Twitter space that was talking about her collection and about the artist herself, and it was actually the artist who has sold the most on Foundation, the highest grossing artist on Foundation. He was talking about how he had actually found her artwork and shared it, and Gary Vee and his brother went in at that point and bought it up, and so she sold like $30,000 in one night. She went from having, if any sales, very, very little sales in the NFT space, and she's an art teacher from Russia.
Wow.
And so another one of those situations where people's lives change. So it is a really cool project. And so from that side of it, with that interest, it seems like that could be pretty strong. Are there other things about the project that you like?
Yeah. So one thing that actually really I caught my eye about this project that I think is really cool. I'll go ahead and throw that into the details. It is a 10,000. It's a 10,000 mint. A 10,000 piece
collection.
Mint. Yes, sorry. Pre-mint is 0.04 plus gas, and public mint is 0.05 plus gas. But the thing that really caught my eye with the collection that I thought was really cool is 20% of all primary and secondary sales is going to go to support children charities. But then 5% of all primary and secondary sales are going to be used to buy children's NFT art, which is really cool. And then they're going to take that art and actually have a children's NFT art exhibit. So I think that was just really, really cool.
Definitely. Great way to give back to the community in which, she's involved with in real life, and also help bring in the whole new generation. So that's exciting.
Well, it's so fun. That's just one other thing that we talk about, how real life connects with the NFT space. Like, she's a teacher, an art teacher at that. So of course she wants to support children in the NFT space. Like, that's just so crazy. And just the way that they all collide, I love learning more and more about it.
Definitely. And it'll be she sounds like she has some similarities to the Women of Weapons project. So it'll be interesting to see how that develops through their mint, to see if that stays true and if they see the same kind of success. So
I agree.
And the other project that is minting this weekend that I know I've been watching is the Alpha Girl Club. So one that's definitely supports mental health awareness, but also the art is just awesome. The community has been really unique. It definitely seems to have a strong community backing behind it. Like Jaden mentioned, some of the unique things that they've done for their whitelist and to create some excitement in their community is having different community activities like their late night dance parties and just things like that. But overall, they seem to just be in it for the long term from what I have seen so far with doing research, which you always appreciate that it's not just, you're always, aware of the rug pull situation and, just being aware of that, but making sure that, they've got a solid foundation. And so creating that message too, that it's very much female centered in their artwork, but also not making it's women supportive, but not just women centric, but also supporting that you taking whatever is special about you and letting that help you be successful is a great message. So
definitely,
it'll be exciting to see how their mint comes out this weekend.
Especially as a new parent, it's something I can really respect as a dad, going in and creating all these things to help support his daughter and let her know, like, hey, this is okay. Like, you're not the only one. And I really respect that.
Yes, definitely. And, we've mentioned that several times on the show, with both of us being females in the space, it does seem to be a very welcoming, but it's also something that's very, very on topic for what we're hearing in the space. But it is really encouraging to come into something that, with it being so having a very technology-based emphasis, but also just seeing that there's lots of people out there that want to bring women into the space and support them. So it is something that's really encouraging.
Great. And I guess on the topic of supportive communities, do you have any updates for MetaJungle?
Yeah, absolutely. So, every week things are progressing and we're happy. We've been meeting a lot of the artists, and just like you had shared with your wallet update and Marlon, that opportunity for collectors to be able to connect directly with artists and vice versa, and also for the artists to get some strong, some helpful feedback from what collectors might be looking for. So that's a lot of the conversation that happens on a regular basis. And so we appreciate that part of it very much. And so that's something that we're hearing a lot from having the opportunity of interacting with the artists is, and seeing it in Twitter and discussions in Discord is, what opportunities as an artist do you have to reach out to collectors? And so really working on initiatives to be able to help artists connect with collectors. So part of that is helping them understand in their descriptions and their about sections and how they're presenting themselves in their artwork to ensure that they're including all of those different things that are important to a collector, and helping them kind of develop and make sure that they're representing themselves as an artist, where a collector knows, takes away some of the doubt and helps with building trust in them as an artist and somebody that they can invest in long term, and knowing that that's really going to be who they are. So working on that initiative, and also other ways that as a community we can show support for one another.
That's awesome. It's something I've really respected. And like you said, it was whenever I was talking to Marlon, for example, he's like, as an artist, this isn't stuff that I think about, like this side that I don't think about until I hear it from a collector. And I feel like that's a common theme that we end up running into.
Mm-hmm. It is, the NFT space offers such an awesome opportunity for artists and creatives. But the other element of that is, yes, they are in charge, like they have more control over their destiny. But at the same time with that, it may mean learning new skills or thinking about things slightly different, because they do then become, they're marketing themselves, there's, and seeing how they're presenting themselves through someone else's eyes. So having that ability to learn that, and that's part of what MetaJungle is all about, is helping provide those resources where people can learn about what they're doing and help grow and be successful. Because I know as a collector, it's great to have that opportunity, just like Marlon was a great example where you love the artwork, but there's still a few questions. And, as long-term collecting, having those details available, and there's probably lots of opportunities where collectors might be looking at pieces and thinking, well, what if it had this, or what if it had this, I would feel better about it. So having that chance to actually connect with that person, it's something unique outside of the NFT space. It rarely happens, but it does let you have that chance. With that feedback, the artist can see that for all of their collections and be able to make those changes. So,
well, and speaking on that, going off of like marketing yourself and being unique and doing that, I believe we are being joined by somebody that does that pretty well.
Yes. Today we have an active MetaJungle member that's going to be joining us and sharing some details about himself and his collection. And it's really cool because this is someone that came into the community with his collection already started, and was really receptive to hearing some of the information about adding to his description, and also a very personal collection. And at first he said that he finding a way to describe it was something that he hadn't really thought about, and wanted to let the collector kind of have that ability to decide what they thought about the collection, which is great. And as a collector, you always can see it through your eyes, regardless of what information is provided by the artist. But he had his development on how to then show his work, and also his point of view has been really fun to see that creative process.
Agreed.
And then also continuing on with the the overall theme of MetaJungle of helping each other out. He's been able to offer some of the services that he has found helpful for himself, but also he recognizes that he may have a skill set that other artists may not have as strong. So he's volunteered to help others maybe overcome some hurdles that they may have, and help them with making videos for themselves and being able to really present themselves in a way in which could be really receptive to collectors, and accessible for social media platforms that are available for artists today and stuff. So really cool to see that that message continuing, that if we all are working together, we can succeed together.
That's amazing. Yeah, I watched his video about his collection, and it was astounding how great it was and how well he did in describing the collection and putting a emotion into it as well, where it really spoke to you. And so I'm really excited I'm really looking forward to seeing other artists taking that approach as well.
And a great example for artists that might be feeling insecure about, sharing details about their piece. It's a creative way to maybe give them a different avenue to connect with collectors. So really happy that Evan joined us today, and his collection is called Lampman. And if you are in MetaJungle Discord, you'll be recognizing him as Russ Images. So great interview, and it was a great time to get to actually connect with him, and we look forward to hopefully getting to meet other artists in this way as we continue with other artist spotlights. But we'll get to the interview with Evan, and hope you enjoy. All right, Evan, thank you so much for joining us today. And we know each other through the MetaJungle Discord, huh? Mm-hmm. Very good, because you've been an active member in the MetaJungle Discord, and also you're an NFT photographer.
Yep.
Okay, very good. So how did you find the MetaJungle Discord?
So one of the photography people that I follow on Twitter actually posted that someone bought something. I think it was Alpha. So I looked at his page and saw the Discord at the top, and I've been an avid Discord user for like years, since it first started, when it was just kind of a video gaming type of thing. So I'm like, I'll join this and see what's up, and got active, and yeah, the rest is history.
It's always fun to hear about an avid user, because occasionally we hear so many people having trouble with Discord. So it's cool to hear, see the other side of it.
Yep. I've loved it ever since it started.
Yeah, it's been interesting that's been the main form of communication for a lot of NFT groups, is because that's the whole world is already enough, can be challenging to get into. And then on top of that, a whole new social media platform for a lot of us.
Sure.
So,
yeah, it's kind of interesting because I'm in like a Twitter group chat thing with tons of photographers, and it just gets mumbled with a lot of noise because nothing's separated. So there's people talking over everyone, and I'm just like, guys, why don't we just do this in Discord? Because then we could separate things a little bit better. And they're like, it's a little too difficult. I don't know what Discord is. I don't know how to use it. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, that's been something we've been trying to help people understand too, is, how to overcome just how intimidating Discord itself can be. Because I don't think neither one of us were avid Discord users prior to our interest in the NFT space, but the interest and passion for the NFT space definitely drove that adoption, and now it's, yeah. It makes a lot of sense. You understand the organization and everything. So, well, and how long would you say you've been a member of the MetaJungle Discord?
Hasn't been too long. Probably 2 or 3 weeks now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
I've only been into NFTs for like less than a month. So.
It goes by quick, though, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
They say in the NFT space, a day is like a week.
Yeah, pretty much.
It goes in dog years over here.
Well, and would you say that your the interaction in the MetaJungle Discord has been helpful for you on your NFT journey?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Because just interacting with, like, I didn't realize how important descriptions were in my pieces, because my artist standpoint before this was like, just put the work out there and don't necessarily explain it, because I want people to build their own meaning around it. But this kind of like adjusts it to, well, that doesn't, I mean, it might sell, but not necessarily. You know what I mean?
That is something we talk a lot about in the conversations between collectors and artists, is that how important it is to have good descriptions in your work, and also your collections, for the artists to be able to share their point of view.
Yeah, for sure.
And I know that
it also forces me to think more about my work and not necessarily just go out and shoot without meeting, I guess. So I've started like doing a shoot after action shooting journal where I can just write down my thoughts about what happened. And so that's helped out a lot too.
That's such a good idea. It honestly, like that way, yeah, I actually love that idea. That way you can like put exactly how you feel in the moment and how you feel after and share that with the collectors. That's really cool. That's a great idea, honestly.
Because I think I remember part of your feedback initially was that it's a challenge to really be able to have a good description of your particular piece, because when you're taking it, you're in the moment so much. I mean, that's the point, is you're in the moment and capturing and thinking about what's happening then. So, and I remember you mentioning maybe I should take a journal afterwards and really write that down. And I think that's so useful, because I think there's a lot of artists that can relate to that, and really thinking about that connection and why it can be a challenge to have a good description.
Yeah, for sure.
And you've also taken it a step further, and I think you, in addition to photography, also have some video background, and you developed a video for your piece. Is that right, for your collection?
Yep.
And can you tell us a little bit about the collection?
So it's called Lampman Iterations. So, to be completely honest, it was kind of born out of boredom at first. So I recently got my Sony A7 III camera, and literally like 3 days after I bought it, I got sick with a cold. And it was the weekend, and I'm like, oh, I just want to shoot, but I can't get out of my house. So what can I do about that? Well, I have this lampshade I bought randomly. So why not just put that on my head and shoot and see where that goes? I ended up really liking it. And since I got that new camera, the quality just skyrocketed on it. So I'm like, okay, this is kind of cool. And I just started thinking about it more and more, trying to come up with descriptions, and kind of came up with this metaphor of like, and I explained this in the video, but you put on different hats in different situations, and it's kind of something that I resonate with because I suffer from depression for a long time now. And like when I go to work, I have to be a boss, and I don't really like bossing people around. That's one of my least favorite things to do. It's really about like, how do you be yourself when you have to wear all these different hats, and the lamps represent the hats. So it's, how do you take off those lamps? That's kind of just an overarching statement about it.
Well, and I know for me, when I watched your video, I understood and connected with the collection in a way that I hadn't necessarily when just seeing the images. Even though you had done a great job of sharing that, there is a sincerity in your video that I think really the person observing can connect with and see it at a different level.
Right. Yep.
And would you... oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was going to say, like, that's... so I would consider myself like an interdisciplinary artist. So like I'm not good at drawing though. So that's the only one I don't do, but like video, audio, everything, like pictures and all that stuff. I think if you can come up with a way to showcase what you want to sell using other things, that's only going to further help the audience connect with it.
So true. Absolutely. Absolutely. And we have so many different opportunities to now share those, with social media being as prevalent as it is. And that's just going to continue more and more. Well, and I was wondering, would you mind if we shared your video here in the...
I would love it.
Okay. Very good. Yeah. Very good. So we'll take a few minutes to watch Russ's video for Lampman.
All right. Yeah, I'm ready to shoot whenever. what now? You want me to? Oh. All right. Well, let's get to it. I'm gonna take my glasses off because they glare with that. I find it hard in life to actually be myself. I have to put on different hats, and everyone does, right? So you have a different hat from when you go to work. You have a different hat from when you go to school. You got to be studious. You know, you have all this stuff, and I feel like it's just not us. So Lampman represents the different hats, in this case the different lamps that we put on our head for different situations. For instance, let me grab something here. This lamp for me represents normal. So this is like a normal house lamp that you would find, right? And it kind of looks, I don't know, like there's nothing special about it. It's just something you would buy at Target for $6 when you go on your Target shopping. But this Lampman represents the one that's just trying to blend in and not be very frilly and out there, and it's kind of represents my personality a little bit. I don't want to be the forefront. I want to be kind of in the background. But that's something that I'm trying to change, because I have this inner desire, and it's weird, but I have an inner desire to be more out there, more outgoing, and I find it very difficult to do that. But then you notice that lamps kind of have different looks to them. So this might be a lamp that I wear when I'm trying to look frilly and maybe even, I don't know what the word I'm looking for here, but it has the tassels, so it's kind of excitable and kind of has some nice movement, and I can shake myself. I don't know. We put on a front, and I think a metaphor for getting out of this front and being more of ourselves would be for us to light up this lamp, show the light, and maybe eventually even take off this lamp. So there's probably the most important lamp I have is this guy right here, well, lampshade rather, because it represents the cage that we put around ourselves. We're all in this mental headspace fight against ourselves, and this cage is something that represents it, because our head is in between it and we don't have anywhere to move. And Lampman for me is getting out of that cage, finding how we can light it up so we can get out of it. And that's how easy it is. You just gotta take off the cage. So that's kind of my introduction to Lampman. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you have any questions, let me know in the DMs. Thanks guys. Bye.
again, this collection does have a very personal meaning behind it. And I definitely found that it could be a challenge to convey your viewpoint without having some of that extra information. And I always like to commend someone that's able to take a unique approach and be innovative in how they're sharing their message. You've done a really great job with that.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
And have you found, has anything changed with your collection since sharing the video? Have you felt that the video might have impacted how the collection is received?
I've added a few more pieces because when I dropped the video, it wasn't completely finished. So now it's up to, I think, 15 pieces. And I also have like a little bonus one that I might be giving away at some point. Just depends on how things go. But I wouldn't really say that it changed the reception of the new pieces at all. It still coincides with the whole story of Lampman. Yeah.
And do you think the video itself had an impact on the overall collection, just with people connecting with it?
Oh yeah, for sure.
And a lot of times too, just because for me as a collector, even I love seeing the artist's viewpoint, to see the collection in their eyes, and that doesn't necessarily mean it dictates my interpretation or how I value it, but I do find that I appreciate that level. So this has been a great way. I know I've enjoyed seeing you develop and share more as an artist through this process.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, we definitely just wanted to take the time today and learn more about your process and your thoughts behind that. So it's definitely been a great insight.
Yeah, thanks.
It was definitely something. It was unique. So it was unique to throw a video in that really portrays the collection so well. So I was really excited to hear, like Emma said, your thought process behind it.
I think so. For me personally, this isn't necessarily about selling, even though I really want to sell. It's more so about making friends and being a community and helping out that community and just being a voice for it, I guess.
Very good.
So whatever I can do to help out is what I want to do. So I've been on YouTube for a very long time, probably 10 plus years, something like that. So I'm very well versed in using Premiere Pro and using Photoshop and editing thumbnails and putting things together. So if there's anyone in MetaJungle that needs help with any of that stuff, whether that be just me explaining how to do something on Premiere Pro or how to do something on Photoshop, feel free to give me a DM and I can help you.
That's awesome.
Very.
And that's something I found to be very encouraging amongst the group of artists that are active in MetaJungle, is that sense of community and that willingness to help each other out, and seeing that if they are helping each other, that it's good for the whole space, and with that,
sure.
Being encouraging with others as they do have successes, and also learning from each other. I mean, that's the whole basis, and it does cultivate an environment where people are innovating and growing and just getting better at what they do.
Yep.
Well, we definitely appreciate that you're willing to help out other members in the community. That's great.
Something that's very admirable.
Thank you.
And that's something that too, as we continue on in this space, we'll be highlighting and sharing more as well.
Sounds great.
All right. Well, thank you so much for your time today, Evan.
Yeah, thank you.
We appreciate it, and we'll see you in the Discord soon.
All right. Yep. Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Well, that was nice to have Evan join us today.
Very. I really enjoyed what all he had to say.
It's always this part of this process it's really fun to meet the artists in Discord and learn more about them. And then we've had the opportunity to learn more about them in person, like actually getting to connect with them and visit, even if it's a video chat. That's been really fun too.
I agree. And it's so fun, like, being able in this space, you never quite know. Like, for example, I know our PFPs aren't actually like pictures of us. So it's always fun being able to put a face and a voice with somebody that you talk to so much on a regular basis.
Completely agree. And that's something that, points that Evan brought up in his interview. And also, to go along with that, that's something that we're working on now, right? You've headed up a project that you're working on for our artists that are in the MetaJungle Discord.
Yes. So we really like featuring artists. We really like Evan said, one of the keys to success is helping other people succeed. And that was something very admirable, like I said, that he is doing, offering help. Well, we actually are wanting to feature more artists in these series in our Discord, and we are working on a project of doing that. So we are looking to get members to fill out a bio or a questionnaire that we have, and then film a short video about 30 to 90 seconds. That way we can feature you in videos like this, just like we kind of did with Evan.
Very good. Yeah, because definitely the more you are more you are working together, the better success you're going to find along the way. So his message about, volunteering and helping out others is definitely something that runs true through the community, but it's something that we believe at the core too, that if you're helping others, that's how you're going to succeed. So being able to not focus just on yourself. And I'm excited to see how this project develops that you're working on, and being able to create these unique videos for each of the artists so they are able to use those and people can find out more about them.
Well, I'm definitely excited too. I'm excited to speak with more of you, learn more about you. And what's really great is Evan also just said that he is offering some skills with videos. So if you aren't necessarily familiar with video programs, or you have questions or anything like that, I'm sure you could totally reach out to Evan in our Discord because he just said so. You can also reach out to me, BossMom99. I have a little bit of dabbling in there, so I'm more than happy to help as well, because we really just want to make this as great as possible we can for you guys to help everyone succeed. And I think it's so fun. I love learning more about you. I love putting faces and voices together and learning more about your collections, you as an artist, everything. So I'm very, very excited about this project.
It's going to be wonderful.
Awesome. I agree. I'm so excited. I can't wait for everybody else to see it. Well, and I know last week you mentioned that there's a good chance we'll be talking with somebody over sports. And I love sports, so I believe it's sports collectible NFTs, correct?
Yes. And so this is an area of NFTs that has definitely is very popular, but it's growing faster and faster all the time. So there's a lot of people involved in this. There's a lot of people that have been onboarding into the NFT space because of projects like NFT Top Shots, but then also in a even more unique area, which is physically backed NFTs. So NFTs that are related to actual sports memorabilia, to different items and different physical pieces. So it's really cool that this NFT acts as kind of a title for this physical asset.
That does sound actually really cool, because that's something that I've never really put two and two together, but I don't know why. Like, we're so prominent on collectibles in the physical world, so why would we not be excited about them in the digital world? In the digital world as well.
Well, and a lot of times, with NFTs, they are solving a problem as part of the reason that that they become so popular, or they really become used so much. And with an NFT, with physical items, it does overcome some of those challenges from the physical world, that it's, the verification process has already been taken care of, but also, instead of having to store this item, insure this item, procure it, take care of it yourself, it's done because oftentimes that physical item is held in a vault, and there's a custodian that takes care of all of that. So that is a great advantage. But also, for trading and selling, you then don't have to ship that item across, the country or the world, because it's just held in that vault. And by trading the NFT, it allows you to trade that ownership, but the physical item is still maintained in its original state.
That is so smart. Like, I'm not really a sports collector, which is just, I love sports, but it's not something I've ever collected. So I've never actually thought about that side of things, but that is so smart. Like, people that are doing that are so smart, honestly.
Well, and people, I think for collectors in the physical sense that are, I hear a lot from people that collect baseball cards and sports memorabilia. It's such a natural fit because, again, it solves, a question or a problem by then giving a title that's so easy to trade. And so it solves that problem of being, if you're going to be in the same place at the same time, going to shows, that sort of thing, which is really enjoyable. But it lets you create that online community and reach people across the entire world to be able to have that as your trading community.
That's awesome.
It's really exciting to see it growing. Again, people are getting into it more and more all the time. And, that's going to be something, too, that's related to the sports memorabilia world and then also to other physical collectibles. But today we have someone joining us that is really big in the sports memorabilia world. He's been a collector for a long time, also involved in the sports equipment industry, and someone that's come into the NFT space that we've become friends with, and we're really excited to hear from him today to hear his viewpoint on this particular part of the NFT space and learn some background on him. So Kyle Drone is going to be joining us today.
Oh, I am so excited. I've spoken to him a few times, but I'm really excited to learn what he has to say about NFTs in general, but especially the sports side, because especially since I found out that this is such a big side of things and that I've spoken to Kyle a little bit. I've kind of it's piqued my interest because that's something I love. It's something I've always loved. So I'm really excited to see what all he has to say and what I can learn from him.
Awesome. Well, let's enjoy. So today we have a special guest with us. Kyle Drone is joining us today to talk a little bit about something a little bit more unique than what we've talked about on the show before. But we're super excited to delve more into this this side of NFT collecting. But we're going to be talking a lot about the physical collectibles NFT world and specifically the sports memorabilia NFT world. And so, Kyle, we really appreciate you taking the time to come and visit with us. I know we've had the chance to meet in different Discord servers, and so really glad to actually get to chat with you today.
Oh, thanks for having me. I'm excited to, talk about NFTs as much as possible, and especially sports collecting. So I'm ready to go.
Very good. Well, so in real life, you are connected with the sports industry. Is that correct?
That is correct. I have a wooden bat manufacturing company. The brand is called Dinger. It's dingerbats.com if anybody wants to check it out. But we make wood bats for T-ball all the way up to Major League ball players and, award bats, trophy bats, and you name it. If you can put it on a bat, we can do it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And so does that connect also with your collecting as far as sports collecting? Did those two worlds merge for you?
Yeah, I mean, definitely, as a kid, I collected baseball cards. I loved baseball, played it all the way up through college, paid for my college. And, while I was in the business, I came up with the idea of the bat company. So starting that out, I kind of got away from the collecting, but always loved it, always wanted to get back in, just wasn't financially able to until a little bit later in life. And so when I was able to get back into it, I was like a kid again, buying packs, opening them up, going through collections to see if I could find that rare card that I always wanted as a kid and couldn't get. So, yeah, I mean, definitely the love of baseball, the collecting brought me into, the business I'm in now. And now I can come back and do it again as a hobby, as a collector.
It's honestly such a fun connection too, because it's something I never realized I've been trying to explain NFTs to my husband and my dad, but it's something I've never really thought about, but both of them love baseball cards and collections. Like my dad has a huge collection from when he was a kid, and past weekend we were at my in-laws, and my husband got his collection from when he was a kid, and I've never actually thought about how they tie into the NFT space as well.
Yeah, I mean, I can honestly say I may not be where I'm at right now as far as in the NFT space if it wasn't for collecting, because, I came across a group called Block Packs, and they are actually creating NFTs of the physical card and keeping it in a vault and doing it in such a way. It's when we used to do them on like Facebook and stuff, it was called a Raz, basically a raffle type situation where you buy packs and you get chances to win a certain card. And if you win that card, it's your card, but it stays, on the blockchain where it's protected. And the idea is to protect you down the road from scammers being able to make transactions. Say, if I want to sell a card to a guy in Australia, I don't have to worry about how that money's getting to me and how the card's getting to him and vice versa. It's kind of a smooth transition. So it kind of intrigued me. And I realized that I need to learn this stuff because I'm going to get left in the dust if I don't, because that may be where everything's going. And, as long as I've not been in it a long time, but in this short period, I believe even more so now that that's where it's going. And I definitely want to be a part of it.
Very good one. It sounds like for the collecting world, especially a physical-based item and having an NFT associated with it, is that really how you got started? And how do you see those really connecting between the two?
Yeah, as far as the block packs and being a physical collector, that's all I knew. So the NFTs, when I first heard about them, I'd heard about them before I got involved with block packs. But I was like, I couldn't understand why people were buying a picture and they didn't really own anything and they were paying the amounts of money that they were. So a little time went on, block packs came along from that, which is the next part of why I think NFTs and projects are so special is the communities. I met, Alpha Trilogy through that. We became, he's become someone that I can bounce ideas off of and learn from. And, there's been others in other communities that, the communities are so helpful. And I don't know, in a weird way, it's something I've never really experienced before, because in a lot of other businesses or communities, it's everybody's fighting, for that piece of the pie, where here it seems like everybody is, trying to help. And, there's just a more positive vibe all the way around. So it's attractive, and I think it's the future. And I'm loving learning about it.
BlockPacks was one of the first communities I actually was involved when I came into the NFT space, as far as Discord server and watching and learning and stuff. And you're right, because it was amazing to me, especially with social media, how helpful everybody was. They were asking questions and talking about different, not even specifically sports collecting, but how that related to other NFT projects. And that was part of my intrigue too, is the community base. And it was so encouraging, and probably also a little bit due to the time in our country and everything with, going through, lockdowns and all that, but just that connection with community and seeing people excited and having fun again, and opening, and also with block packs with doing the razzes and the drops and different things like that. I've been involved on a minimal level, but, and I know you've been a lot more involved on that side. You and Alpha both have been, but seeing that fun and that connection with something again has been really exciting.
I think that's, sorry. I was going to say, I think that's something I've never really thought about until now. I've always realized community is big, but one of the main things, I played ball too all through college, and I was on fairly smaller, tight-knit teams. And one thing I never realized that I missed was the feeling of a team. And that's almost what all these communities feel like, is that we're all supporting each other, we're learning from each other, and it's almost it's like a team. And that was something I've always really missed since I've not been able to play anymore.
Yeah, exactly. And I think, obviously you got to love the project before you even put time into it. But my second thing all the way around is the communities. I get into, different communities that, either are talked about in our groups, or, I hear from other communities, from people I trust. But still then I like to spend a week or two in there and really, who do we got in here? Who is, supporting it? And, is this real? Because, that's what it's all about. I think in the bigger scheme is the community, and, the support and the positivity that goes around with it, which, will ultimately make some of these projects moon or at least be solid projects for the future.
Completely agree. Yeah, the community and the people behind it are really, really important. And, making sure that it's an authentic project and an authentic team behind it too. And I think that really ties back into the physical collecting because, having that NFT helps you also guarantee the authenticity of the actual item that that you might be collecting or you might be purchasing. So that has been a really cool thing to tie back in with the physical side of it. Is that something that encouraged you with getting with this particular type of collecting or NFT?
Yeah, I mean, to start, that kind of gave me that nudge, that push to go over because, I knew there was something physical tied to it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I had a hard time grasping the concepts early on, but I wasn't talking to the right people either. It was everybody. I think it was the flipper mentality that was coming in. Oh, you got to get in this one. So the FOMO came, and I just said, I got to just back off and kind of figure this out. So it's, it's definitely. I'm sorry about that light.
Oh, that's okay.
It's definitely been the push to get involved was the tie to the physical collectible because that's all I've known.
Mm-hmm. And the NFT kind of serves as like a title to that particular item.
Right.
In a lot of ways.
And then the great thing with block packs is a lot of the NFTs have been created into some art that you can also own. So you have, the NFT art and you have the physical collectible if you're fortunate enough to win, which I have not yet. But I'm still trying.
We keep our fingers crossed for you.
Thank you.
Well, and when you're picking out collectibles, what do you look for when you're whether it be sports memorabilia or other projects? What's kind of your guiding light?
As far as just sports collectibles or in the NFT side? Sports collectibles, I'm a very big card collector.
Okay.
I have literally hundreds of bats because pro players give me bats for me to replicate, to make that bat in their, in my brand for them. So I have some of those. I keep a few of the big name guys, but that's not really what I love. I've always just been a ball card collector. I love baseball cards. It was Topps forever. Then I went into Bowman Chrome, and now, I kind of target certain players, Mike Trout, Ronald Acuna, players like that are good investments, but are just exciting to collect as well. And then on the other side of that with the NFTs, I lean more towards the art side of it, where I've always collected art, sports art. Okay. Like original prints, big Michael Jordan fan, big, Derek Jeter fan, Albert Pujols, that kind of stuff. So I've got tons of art that way. I've even had local artists do renditions of all my players that swing our bats at one time. So I would get the bulk card and have those done just for my own personal. So then the NFT side, I really opened up more to art outside of the sports world. And oddly enough, my 5-year-old, one of the first NFTs I bought was just because he liked a dragon. He's a dragon fan. He's just a nut. And he said, "Daddy, can I draw a dragon?" So he actually went on YouTube, found a tutorial at 5 years old and drew a dragon. So now that my son is excited about the art, that's something else that we can share because he's not quite there on the sports collectible side, but he can appreciate the art. So that's been another driving force that I did not expect, that connection to do something with my son that he actually enjoys doing with Daddy.
That's awesome.
Really is so fun.
That is very cool. And so I know that it's really fun to hear about how you do tie the sports memorabilia in with the art part of it too, and learning more about that side of it. I know that Alpha respects you a lot as somebody. Alpha Trilogy is somebody that is a sports collector, but also the art collecting world. And so definitely great to learn more about that foundation that you have in that space. And so I know for the future with sports collecting, do you have some goals or some direction that you would like to go with that, or how do you see yourself being immersed for the future?
I'm working that out every day. I've had plans, before when I first heard about NFTs, because I thought it was easy, was to launch my own line of NFTs, different bats by some of the different players I used or that use us rather. And so I think that's something I would like to look forward to developing in the future. I don't know where that fits in. I have realized that there's a lot more into it than, what I thought, where you just take a picture and you throw it up and it's an NFT and everybody wants it. And so, I'm still in that process, and I think there will be something in the future. And I've shared something with Alpha on the chat before about my son's art. I even think I sent him some pictures, just some ideas. But being an entrepreneur, I've constantly got ideas going, so I got to kind of focus them in and pull myself back and figure out which direction I'm going. So right now it's just learning, and we'll see what happens in the future, I guess.
And it's so fun, especially like with having a niche like sports memorabilia and stuff, and with you owning your own bat company, how many directions you can go. Like you can make NFTs where you attach physical assets to them too, where people get bats, or you could, especially with the metaverse happening, you can even make a game where they get certain bats, and these bats like propel, and then you have like baseball tournaments where you play against one another.
I want to continue that with you, because I have all those ideas. I just have no idea how to shape them into, what this world is yet. And that's but yeah, all those things you're talking about, now just gets my mind going even more, because we had talked about like a home run derby game. Because the name of our company's Dinger. Dinger is, another term for a home run. That's why I came up with that. So, all those ideas, and hopefully somewhere in the MetaJungle we can figure out how to put all that together and and maybe launch a project one day.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, and we will be opening up a channel in MetaJungle to focus more on the sports memorabilia side of it and physical collecting side. And so I know you spend some time in MetaJungle, and hopefully will be available to kind of help as we're opening up and encouraging more collectors in this space to come in as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to be a part of it and help answer any questions that they throw out there. So
awesome, because very much like we mentioned, starting off with block packs, that open communication and helping each other out and that sort of thing. That's definitely the environment and the community that we want to cultivate, is so people can come and share, not specifically maybe about a project in particular that they're working on, but about lots of opportunity and what the future holds, and to be able to have that where different like minds can come together and really learn and grow together.
Absolutely. I'd love to be a part of that.
Very good. Very good. Well, and especially with your knowledge in the space and your background, we'd love if you would join us from time to time to kind of keep us up to date on the sports memorabilia world and how that's developing, if that would work out for you.
Absolutely. Anytime. Just let me know.
Well, thank you, Kyle, very much for joining us today. We appreciate learning more about your background, and especially this particular part of the NFT space, and definitely look forward to seeing you in the Discord more often, and we'll see this whole department of the NFT world developing.
I'm very excited to chat more. This is definitely where my interest is peaked to the full.
Right. Well, hit me up anytime. I'll be in there a lot.
Awesome. That sounds great. Well, thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Have a great day.
All right. You too.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Well, that was fun to hear from Kyle.
I really, really enjoyed it. It was nice getting to dive into a space that I'm already so passionate about in real life.
And, something that was kind of hit on, but to delve in, it does create a lot of opportunities for collectors and some opportunities that are not available in real life. So having that physical item, being stored, that makes it easy to be able to trade it. But also another side of that is fractionals, which was mentioned. But, that's something where by taking a physical asset, and typically a really high value physical asset, and creating fractionals of that, it lets collectors own a part of something that they may have never been able to own before.
That's amazing. One of the main reasons I've just never got into collectibles is because they are very expensive. So it's really cool to think that I could own half of, say, a Michael Jordan card that I would not be able to afford otherwise. Not half, but a fraction of it that I could never afford otherwise if they didn't do fractionals. So it's crazy.
And such a great way to bring together, a group of strangers to own something with really high value. In the real world, you couldn't trust people and be able to interact with them in that way. But, through NFTs and smart contracts, it takes all of that doubt and worry away and creates new opportunities. So it's pretty cool.
It's definitely a great way to build friendship in the space that might have not been able, or that you might not have been able to build otherwise. I mean, the space is very friendly, but it's always cool to find people in this space that you might not have gotten in real life if you're bidding against each other for the collector or collectible or anything like that, where if you're coming together, of course you guys are going to be friends because you both own this. This is awesome.
Well, and creating those groups more and more to take away any doubt, have that trust there or just have the contractual side of it there so you don't have to worry. So lots of exciting things. I think we'll see that more and more as more physical assets do come into the space in the sports collecting world. But also there's, you mentioned of all kinds of other physical assets, fashion, all kinds of other items. But something that's really, really exciting. Alpha Trilogy is a really big collector in the real world for physical items, both in sports memorabilia and also lots of other collectible categories. And so I know that's how he and Kyle have, come into this space, and something that they share in common. And with the foundation for how they met. And I know Alpha respects Kyle's opinion on a lot of things. So it's great to have people like that you can kind of ask questions to, and help learn from as you're progressing into a new part of this whole new world.
It's definitely something I'm excited about, is being able to pick Kyle's brain. So that's going to be really cool.
And making a channel, in the Discord server that is going to be focused on physical-based assets will make that even easier for people that have an interest in that to connect, ask questions, share different thoughts. And so I know Kyle's going to be involved with that, and probably some other folks that are active in that space. So we really appreciate, Kyle's involvement in that, and his, being willing to lend his expertise and help others grow in that world. And I'm looking forward to getting to learn more about that space as well. And Kyle's going to be a great person to have to be able to help us further that education.
Agreed. I'm super excited to be able to pick their brain about just this space in general, but also learn more about their past with their collecting in real life, what all they own, and how that's fed into their collecting in the NFT space and what they own. So I'm really excited about all that.
Absolutely. Lots of good things to come. So, our basis for MetaJungle is to help people come together and learn and grow and be able to succeed. And so it's been really fun to see that developing, with artists and in the one-in-one space, both with photographers and digital artists and lots of other mediums and genres. And so just continuing that path and bringing in that physical collectible space as well, because it is such a growing space. So that way, we also have been learning that just because one avenue might bring people into the space, very few people are just dedicated to one. So bringing in more and more opportunities to learn about those different opportunities. So
it's definitely exciting, especially this video. We've had so much exciting things happening in MetaJungle, and it makes me even more excited just to see what's to come.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And hopefully, there's some other things that we're watching and learning with the metaverse. There's lots of different things coming up. So, starting to learn about land in the metaverse and what that's going to mean, and more of seeing a digital space come to life and be more and more involved in our everyday. So lots of fun things to explore.
It makes me so excited.
Well, thank you guys for joining us today. We enjoyed learning both from Evan and from Kyle about different things happening in the space, and we definitely look forward to our next episode. So please like, share, subscribe, and we'll look forward to seeing you in the MetaJungle Discord and in our next episode.
And please don't forget to send me videos and bios about yourself. I am ready to learn.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.